Nick and I discussed this a little bit briefly before we started.
Mm-hmm.
So like my social media, like my Instagram, my Twitter are merged into one. So Will Foxwell is Will Foxification. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They are the same. So, and that's why I don't approach it so business-like. I have a combination of both things. I'll post my dogs. I'll post my YouTube stuff. I'll post other stuff, and I mix the two. So, but like you said, if you have your own business page, like if I just had a Will Foxification page, it might be different. But
Dude,
I don't know.
I think you have like a good moral compass, like thinking and feeling that way.
Yeah.
And I think that is like a nice way to think about it. And honestly, like that's something that I would like to strive to be able to do, to be able to be.
Well, I want to be empathetic. I want the person to feel valued.
Yeah, and what I'll say I feel like I gotta slightly have to defend myself now.
No, I'm not attacking you.
I know.
Okay, yeah. I don't mean to come across that way at all. I'm no judgment on anyone who does that. It's a matter of perspective. I disagree because I do things differently, but there's no right and wrong.
Yeah, once again, it's a perspective thing, and without being in people's minds. And the reason I'm joking, saying I have to defend myself, but to
I just didn't want you to feel
yeah. But to expand on the point that I'm trying to make, when I am going through and following stuff like that, that is purely like a business thing. But as far as like my quote unquote brand would go, I want to get personal with people, and like part of like Twitch streaming and stuff like that is, I mean, you interact with your chat. That's like kind of like the whole purpose. Like, yeah, you're playing a video game. Or, you know, there's various things that you can do like live streaming, but the whole point is to entertain an audience live, right? It's almost like, to a weirder degree, doing like stand-up comedy, or, you know what I mean, being in a play. You know, there's a live audience in front of you, and depending on how well you do, depends on how many people are there, right? But regardless, you want to be able to engage with those people. Those people there, and in the process of getting those people there, maybe slightly differ for me, right? So I'm willing to go through and maybe like follow some people and try to like get some people on board to get that foot in the door. And that's when I would say I turn it over personally to try to make it more like, hey, you know what I mean? Like, thank you for coming by. Like, I do really appreciate it. Like, I want to make this like a good product for you. Did you enjoy it? That type of thing, where I want to make it more personal. However, I am going to have like a drive that I want to go get those people. And I will say that I'm willing to do things that maybe personal Nick wouldn't necessarily be cool with, but business side Nick, like I'm willing to like hit that switch and then just like try to go be a go-getter and go get it.
And I think I am, like I said, probably abnormal. And I think I'm not expecting a lot of people to agree with me on this because, and I just don't think that's how most people view it. But like, it just feels so, I don't know, it feels so icky to me. And I understand it completely from a business perspective. Same way with like celebrities, right? And maybe that's because that is their social circle. But like the celebrities say, like, you know, the big celebrities might follow 100 people, right?
Yep.
And they're all blue check mark people, right? There are very rarely we find someone who doesn't have a blue check mark, and you know, from a celebrity like that Katy Perry's following, right? Or The Rock or something, right? And I don't know, Disney examples. They might be following a ton of people that don't, but just most celebrities, that's probably what you're gonna see. And it feels, I don't know. But if that's their social circle and that's the people they know and they interact with, that's an entirely different conversation.
Yeah.
But like if they just don't really follow anyone that's not official because it's bad for their brand, like that's where it feels icky to me. Like I don't like that because like, I don't know. It just feels so, like I said, anti-personable. Like to me, it just feels, you know, like that it becomes something else entirely that I don't know. I just can't identify with it. And that's where it becomes a little problematic for me. But like I said, no judgment. Everyone else can do their own thing. Everyone can do what they want. Just for me, but the way I approach my YouTube channel, and I can't follow everyone back, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't know everyone. But if someone follows me that I know from YouTube, and I'm like, oh, that guy or that girl is cool, and he or she has always been cool, so I'll follow them back. Because I'll be like, okay, they have something interesting to say. Like, I think I view it as a glass half full approach. Like that person has something interesting to say that maybe I would like. If they don't, maybe I will unfollow them.
Yeah.
Right. But, you know, at least give them a chance. I'm not going to like completely dismiss them based on their check mark.
Yeah.
Or lack thereof.
Yeah. I think that's a really nice way of thinking about it. You're giving them a chance. And if you have something that I enjoy, sure, I'd love to follow something that I enjoy.
Right.
But if you don't, then yeah, I'm not going to.
I totally get that. I agree.
Dude, and while you were talking, it made me think of a couple other things. I'm going to defend the like real popular pages real quick, just to give like a perspective on the people, the super popular people that are voiceless during our podcast.
Yeah, they're voiceless.
I would say that some of those people is probably, they're not even managing their own social media.
You got a good
You know
point.
what I mean?
Yep,
and there's like a marketing team that is driving that beast that is person
their
X.
brand. Yep.
Exactly. And that's why that they, you know, they're only following blue check marks because they want to have this influence. And I'll defend them on another aspect is, I can only imagine, you know, although we are super cool and very, very popular, clearly.
Yes.
You know, we are not A-list celebrities, right? We're not even B or C. Or,
We have
we won't
9
talk about it.
subscribers and climbing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
On YouTube.
When you put it like that, maybe A.
Yeah, double A.
Yeah, double A. We are the top of the food chain.
Yes.
But these people too, because they're around so many people that want a piece of them all the time.
Yeah, right.
Maybe, you know, they just, if they are getting on social media and it is their own social media, maybe they just want to clear their mind of that kind of stuff.
You make a really good point.
you know
I'm
what I mean?
being a little bit persuaded by that.
Yeah, you know, they just want to say, holy shit, like I can't handle this. And if it's not somebody that is like really near and dear to me, because there is levels of the shit. There's always levels to shit, guys. There's always levels. You know, you can have your like extremely close, like your literal family, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe like a really good friend or two, right? And then
Yeah.
you have your, you know, like your friend circle, then your acquaintances circle, and then your friends of a friends, like all that type of stuff. And maybe at a certain layer of that, like you start to cut people off.
Right.
I think.
And I don't want to sound ignorant on it. Like I don't
Sure.
understand, I don't
Oh,
know
yeah,
their lives and everything. And they may have some reason for doing it that I just don't know. So it's just the outside looking in perspective. That's all.
Yeah, definitely. And then, but to the point that we were kind of talking about ahead of time, I think we are kind of getting like outlier-ish because that is like the 1% of the 1%.
Right.
There are people that, you know, are maybe more in our social bracket,
Yeah.
should we call it, you know what I mean? Where maybe this would be more applicable to. And I guess to kind of like come back down to that area, I don't know. My roundabout advice for people is figure out why you're using social media.
Right.
Like, is it strictly for a personal thing? Are you just looking to, you know, is it a way to catch up with friends? Something that it just came into my head that I really enjoyed. Mutual friend of ours, Jamie. He hit me
Shout
up.
out to Jamie.
This is
again.
years ago. When I was making just regular like YouTube just vlogs and stuff like that. Jamie hit me up one day and he's like, "Bro, I love watching your vlogs because it's kind of like a way to catch up with a pal that I haven't seen in a while."
That's great.
And, you know, to a degree, that's what Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, or any of those types of things are. It's like, hey, you know, I'm busy now. I'm an adult. I don't
Yeah.
have time to hang out with you every day, every week, maybe even once a year. You know, things happen, right? Like you've
Right.
got obligations at all these other places, and maybe it just doesn't happen. But you can, you know, for those 5 to 10 minutes you're sitting on the toilet, you know, scroll through and be like, oh, that's really cool. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know they got a new car. That's awesome.
One thing though I do want to circle back to, I think you made a really good point about the celebrity thing that kind of persuaded me
sure,
a little
sure.
bit. I think you made like social circle thing. You know, I think too celebrities, I think all of us like to be around like-minded people, right?
Yeah, yeah.
To an extent. So like if other celebrities seeing what they're doing motivates you, that's an angle I think that's interesting that you touched on.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
like you want to follow only blue check marks because they're motivating you to be better, to stay on your game, to promote your brand, right?
Sure.
Because you're being around like-minded people. And
Yes.
actors tend to date actors, you know, same kind of deal, right?
Mhm.
And I from that perspective, I think you make a really good point because I
Yeah,
think, you
thanks.
know, we talk about, you know, following someone that has some kind of value to you, something
Yeah.
you like seeing or that you're interested in. And the actors, you know, they work in that profession, or musicians, they work in that profession. They're all entertainers, right?
Uh-huh.
So they like to see other entertainers and other pieces of art, right? So in that sense, I think you make a really good point. And I do agree with you. And I think you swayed me a little bit to not be so close-minded in that sense. To try to understand why they're doing it. And I think I've been thinking of it more so as their brand. And that feels icky to me. But I
Yeah.
think when I look at it as maybe they're getting some value from those people, that's different.
Yeah, well, dude, you're not the only person that hears that like brand thing and it makes you go like, ugh.
Yeah, right.
Like I've heard that on more than one occasion where some people hate the idea of like, oh, you're a brand. Will is a brand. That doesn't even
Right.
make sense. Coca-Cola is a brand.
It's almost like you take yourself so seriously.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
It's like-
dude, and I totally get it. Like, I'm just trying to embrace it because that's the way I see the culture like shifting to.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be such a boomer that I'm like, I don't have a brand. You know what I mean? It's just saying like you as a person. I feel like it's just more so the lingo
Right.
of what you do.
And I think just to wrap things up on this topic, 'cause I do think we got to move on to our next one.
Yeah, sure.
But I think basically to me, personal is different. But, you know, I think one thing I need to work on too, and I'm all about self-improvement, is, you know, when someone unfollows you, don't take it personally. Don't think
Yeah.
about it. Just like I said, it's 5 minutes for me and I'm over it. But like, don't even worry about that 5 minutes. They unfollow me, I unfollow them back. You know what I mean? That's fine. Move on and be done with them. Okay, whatever. Don't even think about it anymore. I need to work on that myself. So, and I think that's something we could all probably do, not to take it too personally. But it just feels a little bit like, man, they really don't care. It feels like they don't care what you have to say anymore. But that's really not always the case because we can't put ourselves in their mind.
I want to maybe flip-flop role reverse for my little wrap-up on this topic.
Okay.
Maybe do take it personally and step up your game. You know what I mean? Like if you
That's an interesting way to look at it.
because
If you're a
I'm relating it
business,
back to
though.
myself, yeah. But even for me as my personal IG, like I don't ever post there. And if everybody started unfollowing me, and I have definitely unfollowed people in the past because I'm like, I like you, but why you don't do anything on Instagram? Me following you on Instagram is just for the sake of me saying I follow you on Instagram.
I will do that. If someone hasn't posted in like a year or two, I will do
Yeah,
that.
so for me, that's more so what I'm speaking to. Like, if people started unfollowing me, watch after this episode comes out, people are like, oh, fuck yeah, Nick gave me the green light.
got my
See you
phone right
later.
here.
Yeah, exactly. Then, for me, it's like, oh, shit, maybe I should, be social on my social media a little bit more.